Hello there, Internet. Dakian here with some more miniature rambling for you. Today is Monday, as always. It's specifically the 11th of March 2019. And I've managed almost to fit into frame. If I turn this guy, so there, everything fits into frame. The four minis that I've painted this week. They're all by Hassle-Free Miniatures. They have some different themes. Well, three of them are clearly fantasy. One is more of a... the Witch Hunter here is more of a sort of a Renaissance feel. Or maybe sort of a steampunk. The pistol she's carrying isn't actually a sort of realistic flintlock or anything. It's more some sort of steampunk clockwork weapon. And yeah. So... considering the choices here, this lady came out okay. This is an example of what happens when you don't plan ahead and you just sort of slap on colors as you go. Oh, I've chosen this color, then oh, maybe I need another different color to complement it, and so forth. And you just make it up on the fly. I think my original plan was for the straps here on to be more gray, but they turned out a brown, light brownish gray instead. Maybe the gray would have been better. I'm not sure. And some of the detail was hard to capture. I mean, especially the lighting here, you can't really see. I think these are supposed to be wooden stakes on her back. I don't know. I think I'll go in and pick those out a little bit with some lighter paint in hindsight and pop that out a little bit more. And you can't really see her face, but that's down to the sculpt. So that's okay. We have Lord Ulthrak here, which is like an evil fighter. You can tell he's evil because he has the chaos symbol on the back of his cloak. And as mentioned, he's kind of weirdly placed on the base, but that's down to the sculptor, not me. And yeah, tried to make him a little bit more interesting than just bare metal, all of him, by adding some different splashes of color here and there. Yeah. And then we here have Not At All Conan the Barbarian. Thing here I'm not sure about is I went for like his loincloth and the bracer on his arm with a dark brown leather. I'm not sure how well that plays with a deeply tanned skin tone, and oh, the scabbard looks a bit wonky, but oh well, there's not much I can do about that, or is there? Well, yeah, I can try to straighten it some more. It's probably going to get bent in handling anyway. But overall, turned out okay, I think. And finally, the female, I think her name is Velasquez Sin. Difficult to paint, a lot of detail that's hidden, or I mean, for example, her face, because her head is bowed down like that, it's really hard to get in there and highlight because it would be in shadow. And there's a portion here on the back where it's supposed to be just crisscrossing straps, but it looks like a muddled mess, doesn't it? And it, I don't know, it just for some reason it was really hard to pick out that detail and to make it look like anything at all. And I had an issue just after I'd just before filming, but just after I'd varnished the minis, where I looked at the paint on the outside of her thighs, and there were like minute cracks in it. It was like really weird. Like there'd been some crackle medium in the paint. And I'd never encountered that before. Why would that happen? So I've actually gone in with some of the skin tone after and painted over the varnish. I don't know if I need to go back in with another blast of the matte varnish just to protect it, maybe, now that it's dry. Not sure how that happened. And now that I look at it on camera, it looks like so her legs are lighter than the head. Or I might have to take another look at this under magnification and see. Oh well. Anyway, 4 minis, not bad for a week of painting some rather detailed minis and trying to get a lot of other stuff done as well. So yeah, moving on to works in progress. And here we have these poor villagers with their strange skin conditions. It's perhaps easier to see now that I've started painting them that they all have tentacles coming out of them. What I've done so far, I've finished the skin tones and the hair and eyes and so forth. And I've started on the tentacles. They're just base coated so far. And in this case, I put down a couple of base coats on some of the clothing, just preliminary. Not sure where they'll end up. But yeah, once I get the tentacles on, it's just clothing. These guys don't have any armor or weapons, which simplifies things. It's just clothes. It's just different colors of fabric. And the challenge here is really only to get a reasonable variation going, because I don't want to paint them all like they're wearing uniforms. I can't paint like all the tunics the same color or something like that. That would just look weird and unrealistic and unnatural. I mean, okay, hey, tentacles coming out of the chest, that's unnatural, but still, you know, there would be a sort of realistic variation in the clothes. That it kind of slows down a little bit, because if I could, like the cultists, I painted every robe exactly the same color. That sped things up. But yeah, there's still reasonable chance we'll see these finished by next week. Can't promise anything, but I will do my very best. Dragons, where's the dragons? Well, I'm happy to note the two smallest ones, the metal ones, are prepared and based, and they're ready to be primed. And yeah, so this one I just, a 25mm plastic base fit pretty well. I decided to go with a cavalry base for this one because he's in that kind of pose, like a four-legged beast. And I did a sort of dungeon floor texture, but then I added some grit on top of it to make it look like a dirty dungeon floor, not very clean or well swept. So they are almost ready to go. Well, as soon as I get a good day for priming. Now, the next largest one here is assembled, and I put it on the base. See, the integral base was this very thin, irregular strip. They didn't even bother to make him gesture an actual base, so I had to put it on something else, and I used this oval plastic thing. I think it's a Games Workshop base, actually, for, I don't know, bikes or something. A little bit of gap filling here, and then I need to add some texture to the other portions of the base. Maybe add some scenery. We'll see what I do. This one he's kind of leaning a little to one side, but it's not so much the actual body, but actually the neck is angled, so he's sort of looking slightly around a corner or something. I don't know.
it's part of the sculpt, and it's not badly unbalanced, so I think it stands up pretty well. As for the big guy, as you can see, all I've done is basically dump out all the pieces. Haven't even started cleaning them yet. I don't think there's much cleanup, and these are pretty good casts. I don't think I will have to do much. Well, there's a mold line here, but well, we can fix that. For this one, I picked out this base, which is a 3-inch Reaper base, 75 mil. Because I thought it was a good fit for the integral base for this one was kind of rounded. And it will fit almost pretty much exactly on here. And let's see, where does this thing go? So this foot goes in here, and this foot, yeah, sort of like that. So it's something like this. And oh well, you get the idea. This is also, by the way, another example of there's no way I could possibly use just this. But this one has some interesting stuff here, like a skeleton with a sword. And yeah, it'll be fine. Let's get this thing out of the way. Yeah, so I think by next week these will definitely all be primed, and I'll probably have started painting them a little bit. Maybe just some base coats, perhaps, at least. I mean, and yeah. Do I need to add more stuff to the cube? Well, it all depends. I'm not sure I will, but if I do, I have picked out what it will be. It will be this, and I'm sorry about this. The label is curled up from the moisture. It's the Village of Cullhaven. It's it's a Reaper boxed set with 13 or 14 minis, depending on how you count it. I'm counting this, anything that's on its own base, I count as a mini. So this mother and child, I count as one mini. But this little baby is also one mini, because it has its own base. So, well, but if you had counted these two as separate, it would be 14. Anyway, maybe this side you can see a little bit more clearly what's all in here. Yeah. It's a like I said, a Reaper box set of metal minis. I think these are all available in bones now, but I'm kind of happy to have them in metal because the detail is better for human minis. Still, I mean, we'll have to see when the Bones Black arrives if they're better. But yeah. Anyway, might as well rip this thing off. That is everything in progress, in the works, and planned.
You know what? There was a box in the mail this week, and it is a Kickstarter. And as you can tell, it's a bunch of plastic shields. And I have 4 different versions here. We have round ones. We have not quite heater shields, but with a little indent. We've got some kite shields. And we have some that look like coffin lids. And they all have this little indent. And this was part of a Kickstarter that was really mostly for shield designs, because with these go a bunch of PDFs that you can print out with various designs that you then glue into these shields. And I've started receiving the Kickstarter was pretty successful, and the stretch goals led to a lot of designs, and they haven't finished all of them yet. But I've got like the beginning ones, and so I consider this Kickstarter sort of complete, kind of. And it's really just for replacements, and if a model doesn't have the shield that I like, I can put a different one on there. Yeah, just this is small little detail for modeling. That is actually the last Kickstarter, the last order of any kind that is miniatures related that I have pending, except for Bones 4. So until Bones 4 arrives, and that's probably gonna be more than a month out. I'm guessing late April, probably, realistically speaking. Until then, the outro will not be show and tell on these episodes. It'll be something else. Probably it'll be new projects. Instead, I'll shift the clips until after the break. Yeah, so that's what I'll be ending on in the future. But that was it for this week. As always, click like, subscribe, share, comment, all the usual things. I'll be back in a week, as always. Till then, I'm signing off.